the more you can stick to you and not compare yourself and not don't allow jealousy or any of those nasty emotions that just cloud our creative journey. Um, Focus on you. And that's a lesson for anything. That's in relationships and all that. You have to just be content with yourself and be the best that you can be, or else you cannot be the best you can be in the room or for the job or for another human being or for a parent or for a child.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Hassiem Muhammad, and you are listening to The Actor's Instrument, Tools for the Long Game. Before we dive in today, please give this episode a like. Make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you're listening. It helps out a ton. Now, earlier in this season, we had a focus on breakout moments in actors' careers, that early career moment that seemed to take off for them. But as we know, many a career takes off and many a career lands prematurely. But what about those actors who managed to stay airborne for decades at a time? This week on The Actor's Instrument, we are joined by an actor who has consistently worked on Broadway for 2 decades, and she's here to share how she did it. Erica Mansfield is currently performing in the Broadway revival of Mamma Mia, the very show in which she made her Broadway debut 20 years ago. In addition to performing nightly, she is also the show's intimacy coordinator. Since her debut 2 decades ago, Erica has taken the stage in 10 additional Broadway productions, including Almost Famous, Doubtfire, Kiss Me Kate, Bandstand, 20th Century, On the Town, Pippin, Evita, Finding Neverland, and H2 dollar sign. TV and film credits include Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, FBI, Law and Order. What a resume. Erica, thank you so much for joining me.
I think it's my 12th. I'm trying to decide which Broadway show was missed. There's 12 somewhere in there, but I can't even remember my own shows anymore, so it's a joke.
That's a good problem to have. Jesus Christ. All right, look, guys, okay. If you don't have concrete goals for your career, make this one. That one day you will work so much you will forget which Broadway show you did. That's
fun game.
But honestly, like what a testament to the consistency you've been able to build. Does it feel like you've accomplished something that is, like, I mean, kind of disgustingly rare in our industry?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I forget and I have to check myself. Somebody asked me this exact question recently, more towards our opening of Mamma Mia, and I definitely had a moment on that night, because holy, full circle.
Sure.
I'd say the little girl who was auditioning for her first Broadway show on that Winter Garden stage for Cats 100 years ago, standing forward doing my double pirouette, would never guess that 25 years plus later, she'd be making her Broadway debut on that stage, much less continuing a career on for decades to come.
Wow.
It's not lost on me.
Wow, it's incredible. And also, fun fact, I know, so I was a teaching artist and actor I know who was in that original Broadway production of Cats. So it's a small world. Everybody knows everybody. It is a
very small world.
And congratulations on that full circle moment. You guys opened Mamma Mia a little under 2 months ago. How's it been so far?
First of all, this show in general brings so much joy to the world. And it was the same 20 years ago when I was doing it on Broadway. It's such a joyous, positive, uplifting show, and we really need that in the times that we're in right now. So to be revisiting it during this time is so special, and then also to be sharing it with so many people making their Broadway debuts. At my last show I was doing regionally, they called me Mother Broadway. Here they call me Mom. I'm always there in the camera, like taking my pictures for them and encouraging them and loving on them. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful cast. So I've really enjoyed every second of being a part of it again.
Oh, that sounds incredible. And what, like, a spectrum, like I said in the intro, we had Caro de Tayac on the show. And Mamma Mia is her Broadway debut, this current showing. And in our conversation, she brought you up. She said they called you Mom. She was like, yeah, I think she's been in like 10 or some Broadway shows. And I was like, I need to reach out, see if we can get Erica on. Um, because just that difference in perspective is what I'm curious about, right? Like in my conversation with Caro, it was all about this initial moment, this what I'm assuming will be a spark for a very great career to come. And for you, again, that full circle, like you did this show 20 years ago. In between, you've done another 11, 10 shows. So it's really incredible. It's really inspiring. It's just kind of, I personally, I mean, I know so many actors who like, they just want to get to Broadway show number one,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
And honestly, thank you for doing a piece on this, because the alumni of my show, we're all still friends. This show breathes such life into friendships that unlike any other show. I mean, I have some wonderful friends from all the shows I've done, and I've had very positive experiences. But for some reason, this Mamma Mia community and this web just continues to grow, and we keep in touch all these years later. And somebody said, why has anybody done a story about the fact that you were like a Sophie cover on the road and now you're covering Donna on Broadway, and you started in 2003? I mean, it's a pretty wild journey to think of what has happened in between that moment and the moment that I'm in now. The amount of life, the amount of ups and downs, heartbreak, joy, celebratory moments. I mean, you really live a lot of life in that time. So I do feel like I can offer a different perspective to the company members in my show who are starting their journey in this Broadway moment that they're having, and helping to celebrate them and support them and offer advice, or just be excited. I felt when they were having their Broadway debut that I was having mine all over again, because honestly, when I joined the company, they had been running for a while. I'd been on tour. I joined the Broadway show, and people were so sweet. I mean, now we'll probably laugh about it, but they're very much like, oh, it's your Broadway debut. Oh, cool. Hope you had a great show. But this was like everybody, 25 people making their Broadway debuts. So,
Wow.
when we're at the end of the show and we sing in these vocal booths, we're all holding hands and just tears. And I felt like I was living it all over again, but having, getting to have it the correct way this time with a collective group of people who, I'll say this for Christine Cheryl, she loves the word collective joy. So it was really special this time.
That's amazing. So in this conversation, what I'd like to get into are those, this show is called The Actor's Instrument, Tools for the Long Game. I'd love to get into your toolbox because you've been playing the long game. And the first question I have in that regard is actually a question I ask everybody, which is, what is the defining quality that you bring to the table as a storyteller?
I'll tell you what it is. The defining quality, I think, for me, that has kept me working, because here's the deal. I think you could talk to several people who'd say, I really don't have a big ego at all. Like, I'm happy to work. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to be consistently working. That's the goal for me. And I think being easy to work with in a world that's tough, the business is tough. Everything about it is tough. The people can be tough. The auditioning is tough. So having a level of ease about you in the workspace, I think, is helpful. I don't think I'm the best singer. I don't think I'm the best dancer. But I feel and I hope that I bring an element of levity to the workplace, and consistency, like being reliable. I think that you get a reputation in this business if you don't show up and do your work, if you don't show up being a good person and getting through the day without, destroying yourself or anybody around you. This is really important in the workplace when you're working in such close quarters.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably it. I'm not sure what other people would say.
I haven't gotten that answer yet. No, like I say this like every episode because nobody says the same thing, which is pretty awesome. I think I may have gotten a repeat maybe twice of people saying that, I think this is what my thing is. But for the like 98% of my guests, and I'm nearing episode 100, most people say something completely different. And sure enough, no one has ever said I'm easy to work with, which is like, such a simple thing that is totally within our control. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I mean, you can't be easy to work with and be bad at your job, but you can, but there is an element of having trust in the workplace with your colleagues and with your upper echelon of producers and directors and creative teams.
absolutely.
Um,
No,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, in your span of working on these 12 different Broadway shows, were many of these contracts back to back? Like, did you have any periods of downtime between contracts?
Oh yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to start by saying this Broadway career I moved to New York in 1998. Okay. And I did not move here. I moved here with two suitcases and a dream, literally, and moved into a women's residence. I didn't know anybody. It was very kind of innocent when I look back at it, and a little nuts if you look at it today. But it was my way. I fell in love with New York. I wanted to be here. I wanted to dance. I knew that I could do it for myself, and I needed to create a break of where I grew up and just come here and do something just me. So sometimes that takes the journey of college for people. Sometimes you need to just fly, and I needed to fly. But that also came with a level of tardiness in my development of but there is no right time to book your Broadway show, right? It happens when it
Right.
happens or it doesn't. And there are many ways to find joy in this business without being on Broadway. But I didn't book that first production contract until 2003, which was Mamma Mia on the tour. And I didn't come into New York till 2006 to make that Broadway debut. So that's a long time before that moment happened for me. So some
Oh,
people,
so it's like 8 years.
yeah, yeah. Some
Ah,
people think that I got here and I just started cranking out Broadway shows, but it really wasn't the way it happened for me. I worked very, very, very hard. And I was on every list. I was taking every class. I was working every kind of theater, children's theater, cruise ships, dinner theater. I mean, you name
mm,
it, I have done it. And
huh,
so that was my college, really, was me preparing myself with the instructors, the different schools, you know, around New York City.
yeah.
You get to utilize some of the best teachers if you're here, and then also working all these different types of theater. So it wasn't it wasn't like that. But once I did do Mamma Mia in New York, um, I was a vacation swing in Mamma Mia. So I was in and out of the show for many years, but
Sure,
doing these
yeah.
long contracts. And then I took a tour to do the Chorus Line First National Tour. So after that, I came back to Mamma Mia. And then eventually, I had done some little job at Town Hall, and Cameron Adams, who also has bazillion Broadway shows, I'll never forget it. She said they were looking for a swing in How to Succeed. And she said, "Have you ever worked with Erica? Like, she's so fun to work with." And I think she's really right for this track, because she had been in the audition room with me many times and we've done this job together. And they said, "No, actually, let's bring her in." And that was my second Broadway show, but it took a while to get to that one. And that was the Rob Ashford
Ah,
family. And so once I got into the Rob Ashford family, um, who I really give him credit to letting me launch a career outside of Mamma Mia, which, you can have your whole life be Mamma Mia and it's so joyous and wonderful, but I also wanted to do other things.
yeah.
Um, he was kind of the launch pad for the rest. And then it did roll. From there,
Huh.
I was in tech for How to Succeed at the same time as I was auditioning for Evita. So, and that was a tough audition. And that was
Huh.
starting a year later. So I rolled from How to Succeed to Evita. But then, people always say you're working all the time. So the long answer to your question is you are not working all the time. I rolled from one into the next. Then, you have to audition while you're working. And then there are all these breaks in between contracts. So even I'm lucky enough that I had a Broadway contract every year for many years. But
Sure.
do the shows stay open? No.
That's a good point.
And so the last show I had run for a whole year on Broadway was Evita in 2012, actually, which
Ah,
always shocks people. So you do have to have life in between jobs to sustain your ability to live in the city and do your training in between and recuperate from injuries. Like you take something with you from every show. You need to heal your body. And
Yeah.
so so it looks like I've worked all the time, but there are huge chunks in between. There really
Sure.
are.
Sure.
That feel like eons when you're trying to pay your bills.
Right. Oh, also, so we discovered the missing show, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Yes.
That one's not on my list.
Yes.
So that's the missing show. Oh, wait. No, that one
yeah.
was no, that was on, dang it. That's not the one. That was the
Let's see.
$2 was How to Succeed, isn't it?
Yes, that's it. That's because it's so long. You take up, they don't
Just
allow you
kidding.
very many words in your bios.
I was like,
We've got Mamma Mia.
$2. I was like, what is that? I was like, I don't remember that one. How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. That is that one.
Show Me the Money, the musical.
Oh boy. Okay.
Let's
well,
see.
maybe by the end of the
we can talk through them.
Okay, so we have How to Succeed. You said from there.
It's a fun game.
From there,
Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
How to Succeed, and then How to Succeed to
Evita.
Evita to Pippin.
Okay.
Pippin to On the 20th Century.
Already.
On the 20th Century to On the Town.
Okay, got that one.
On the Town to, this is hilarious.
What a flex.
Finding Neverland.
This is incredible. Finding Neverland. Great. Yep, got that one.
Yeah, that's in there. Finding Neverland to Kiss Me Kate.
Yep, got that one.
Kiss Me Kate to Bandstand.
Got that one.
Bandstand to Almost Famous.
Yep.
Almost Famous to Mamma Mia. Right?
Doubtfire.
Is it 11? Doubtfire. That's it. Doubtfire.
That's Erica Mansfield's resume again. Okay, back to the topic at hand. So during those moments where you're like, how do I pay my bills? What did you do? What did you do during those downtimes? Are you just an expert budgeter and saver and you're able to float yourself? But like one show closes and you're like, well, thank God I'm like really freaking good at saving money. How'd you get between?
No, you hustle. I mean, you can ask anybody who knows me still to this day. I am a hustler. Like I am always working all the jobs to make life happen. I did save money on the road, which I recommend to anybody who's going out on the tour. Don't get caught up in all the, I got to buy the latest gizmo and gadget, because you put that money away, you put it in your 401k and you try and buy an apartment. And that was the best advice that anybody gave me. So when I went on the road with Mamma Mia, I saved and bought a place with my partner at the time. And we did well as far as we were living together. So we were splitting the cost of all of the life that New York brings. But so property is a good way. But other than that, it's hard to save any money on a production contract. I know that sounds so ridiculous. You're in New York, you're at the top 1%, you're at the top of your game. But even now, I'm still working 3 jobs. So in between jobs, as shows would close, I teach. I do a lot of master classes. There was one time that I was working at Club Monaco. I was a shampoo girl. I worked sample sales. I taught dance in New Jersey. And there was 5 jobs. I can't remember I was a coat check person. 5 jobs at the same time. 5.
Wow.
Because New York is crazy.
Story of my life.
It's crazy to live here and support yourself. So you always have to have some sort of hustle. Mine now in my adult life and my later career takes form in my intimacy directing. I produce a night called Monday Night Live at Red Rooster. Every Monday we have different acts that support the Broadway community and people who want to step outside their comfort zone. Maybe they have a band, they have something they're trying to promote, a show they're trying to promote, and I try and give them a space to try something like that. So that's every Monday. And then I also do consulting for TV stations. So I've made a living over the years for my mom's company, where we consult with news talent on their image and help them navigate what it is to look like in this tiny box when you're delivering the news or when you're out in the field reporting, and how to present yourself appropriately so that you're dressing for the story.
What a really freaking smart secondary income stream. That's really
Yeah.
smart. And I see you're good. We were talking about this before. I'm not just blowing smoke up your skirt, but guys, so before we started recording, Erica was like, yeah, I work 7 days a week because of the Monday night show where she's producing. So that would be a dark day, but producing. And I was like, you do not look like you're working 7 days a week. But come to find out, she's literally an image consultant. So like, listen, collect them checks. You're doing great.
Yeah, I don't think we are in a business anymore that you can just survive in theater alone. I just, sadly, we are in a place in this business where you have to have multiple hustles.
Because a production contract.
And the more you collect. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
What were you going to say? No, please.
I was just, for the folks listening at home, production contract minimum is around $2,600. And there are some I know people specifically, I'm not going to ask Erica how much she makes, but I know people specifically who were leads in major Broadway shows, and it was Favored Nations, and across the board, everyone's getting paid minimums. So while some folks have the space to negotiate, sometimes you don't. Depending on the show, you may be at one thing for one show and another for another. So just to say, because I'm sure some people were looking crazy when you said you have multiple jobs, and they're like, well, she's on Broadway.
Yeah.
And then you go after taxes, agent, managers, 401k contribution,
and equity dues.
Those equity dues.
Yeah.
They're always like, do you want to pay early? No, I don't want to pay early. Like, well, why would you ask such a thing? After all of that, that 26 a week, it's a different story. And I think it's incredibly like transparent of you to, share that reality of like, hey, depending on the lifestyle you want to live, might not be enough.
Yeah. You have to really, everybody's so individual about the kind of support they have from their families or their spouses. Mm-hmm. I support myself. So I'm really proud of myself. This is something that I'm like, after, I bought my apartment in this building in 2015 by myself. I was doing On the 20th Century. It was a limited run, so I had to close before the show closes, or else you lose your loan. It is the most stressful thing I'd ever done by myself. And that apartment, I was supposed to, probably too much TMI, but whatever, I'm fully transparent. I was supposed to share it with somebody, and then it fell apart right after. So I ended up with a hefty mortgage by myself. But you know what? You can do it. Like, I said this on opening night to the Mamma Mia cast. You can do anything. If you put your mind to it, you can freaking do it. Like, I really give myself a pat on the back because I have not had to sell that apartment. I found 10 million creative ways during the pandemic to figure out how to keep it. I pivoted. I came back. I had a major surgery. I came back. We are so resilient as actors. We are so resilient in this industry because you have to be. You cannot walk into those audition rooms and not hold yourself up and walk out
be
the
feeling
door
bad
and
for yourself
continue to hold yourself up. So that trickles into all of your skills and your mindset for your life.
Man, well, good for you. Because it's not easy. It's not easy, and there's this illusion of what it means to be a Broadway star, and then there's a reality, and the reality of like how fickle our business is. I have friends who are in shows that literally they open and close 2 weeks later, and you think your whole life's going to change, and then boom.
It's devastating when that happens. You put so much work into it. That happened with Almost Famous. I think we're open for like 2 months, and I was dance captaining that show and swinging and understudying Elaine, and I was up till 3, 4 in the morning every day doing all the charts, making this beautiful Bible, like making sure that I knew everybody's tracks. And you put all that work in, and then it's gone, and like this.
Yeah, no, it's real. I even I told this story on an episode I recorded earlier today, which will in reality come after yours. So a little sneak peek. Which was, there was a project this summer, just to illustrate your point, feature film, and my agents called. It was a little back and forth with callbacks and stuff, and they go, hey, you're the director's choice. Great. I get another call like the next week. Here are your day out of days, which for folks who don't know, the day out of days, which is really confusing the first time you ever receive one of these. You're like gibberish. Basically, it's just like, when are you supposed to be on set and what are we shooting that day? Um, Different from your call sheet. I had the day out of days, everything, and then, but didn't have a contract yet. And then I get another call some days later, and they're like, the script was rewritten and your character no longer exists.
Oh,
Just
devastating.
gone. So it's like, you can do all the right things, right? Almost Famous, you audition, you do your callback process, you got the dance captain bump, doing everything right. 2 months, gone.
Gone.
Yeah. Now, along these lines, I would assume somebody who looks at your career from the outside, right, would say, like, you've made it. There are actors who would kill to have, maybe
Oh,
literally,
absolutely.
to have your career. My question is, how do you define success? Do you consider what you have, like, have you reached the success that you want for Erica Mansfield?
Yeah, that's a great question. And first of all, I love that you say that, because people have reached out to me privately on messaging or through email and just said, I've watched your career over the years and I can't believe all the different things you can do. I'm so impressed by the way you have built your web. Like, you can navigate so many different avenues of this business, and I want to be like you. I want to be able to dance captain. I want to be able to understudy and carry a show. I want to be able to intimacy direct like you do. I want to be able to be in the ensemble and cross over and go in between all these jobs on stage and off. I'm also an associate. I also do film and TV. So to me, the definition of success is tricky, because would I have been happy getting my one Broadway show and that was it? I wouldn't know that there was more, because there wasn't more yet.
Yeah.
But every time I do a job, I surprise myself and I go, oh, wait a minute. I think I can do this. And I think I could help with that. Or I think I could learn from this and be better at this next time. Or for me, there's always more stepping stones to achieve something new and put in my tool belt. And so as long as I feel like I'm inspired to do more, or that I surprise myself, I think that's success, you know, because that means I'm present and I'm enjoying it and I'm learning from it and I'm growing from it. So the day that I stop feeling those feelings, I think will be the day I know maybe it's time to not do this anymore. Because if you aren't inspired by what you do and you're not learning from what you do, you're not growing from what you do, and it's a clock in, clock out, or you're not present with it, I don't know. There's other ways to have an easier life, easier way of living that we should probably tap into. So, and I really enjoy spreading the love of this business too, and trying to hold on to the good nuggets of it, because I know there's a lot of rough spots in it, and we have a lot of bumps in the road in it. And I was kind of vocal for the first time in our negotiations, because I felt really passionate about maintaining what we have and trying not to let anything go, because we are so lucky to do what we love, and we are the people on stage. We are the people making the art. So we have to inspire each other. We have to inspire ourselves. We have to keep putting things in our tool belt that make us want to strive to be the best we can be on stage and off. So I'm very, I say, with this full circle moment, I always go, oh my God, like what is going on? Am I going to get hit by a bus tomorrow? Because it's all of these things from the past are facing me a lot right now, which is so special. But you never know. Every time I take my last bow in a show, I always just go, thank you, thank you, thank you, because I never believe, I never assume that there's going to be another one, ever. I just think it. I thank the industry. I thank myself. I thank the show. I'm like, I did this. I did this for me, and I'm thankful. And if it never happens again, I did it. Like, I freaking did it. So you have to celebrate yourself and and know that it's not always given that there's going to be. And I came back from a huge surgery and I did not think I'd be here. I wasn't sure. Um,
Mm.
so, and one day I'd love to tell that story. I'm not quite there yet, but it's a good one. And I'll tell you what, we can come back and keep going.
Whew. Okay, that was incredible. I feel like we could just end it right there. Like, what a way to put a bow on the thing. I'm somebody who hates double endings. Like, if I see a movie or a play and I like think it's the end and then it keeps going, I'm like, so sorry, folks, we're gonna have a double ending today because I still have another question for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of a two-part question.
Yeah.
So Caro says that in the show, you're the person that everybody looks to for advice. You're a mom, right? If there's somebody listening to this who is yet to be on Broadway and that is like their biggest dream ever, what advice might you have for them? Like somebody who's been kind of pounding the pavement, you know, they're like, man, it's just not happening for me.
Don't give up, because it might not be the right time right now, but if you really believe that it can happen, you want it to happen, you can make it happen. You really can. And in those moments where you're feeling defeated, take a step away and give yourself a minute, because we don't give each other or ourselves enough grace in this world. We're so focused on what's next. Focus on the little wins in the room. Like, wow, I picked up that combination so much faster than I did last time. Wow, I really held my own in an uncomfortable dance combination that I'm not used to that style. Wow, I hit a note that I've never hit before. And know that people are paying attention, that it might not feel like it. And I've been on the other side of the table too, but the more you can stick to you and not compare yourself and not don't allow jealousy or any of those nasty emotions that just cloud our creative journey. Focus on you. And that's a lesson for anything. That's in relationships and all that. You have to just be content with yourself and be the best that you can be, or else you cannot be the best you can be in the room or for the job or for another human being or for a parent or for a child. And that's tough to do, because this business requires so much of you now. Like, the amount of skills you have to produce in the room is insane. I don't know if I would have made it back then as baby Erica, 18 years old. I don't know. I really don't. The talent in this city is immense. And if you don't get the Broadway show, that doesn't mean you didn't win the game, because you tried. So the winning is in the trying and the little wins in between. But if you really want something, just keep coming back. I stalked Mamma Mia. Like, on opening night, I did tell everybody I didn't really know what Mamma Mia was. And I kept showing up to the auditions in these overalls. They called me overall girl, because I would go to the EPA, I would go to the chorus call, I would go to the singer and the dancer ECC, and I would just, every time there was a call, that was when you open up your Backstage magazine, I'd look at it, I go, oh, there's Mamma Mia again. I'll put on my overalls and go. I did that to the point where Holzenberg would go, Erica, we don't need to hear you sing again. We're good. Like, you were here yesterday. You were here last week. I just never stopped. I'd show up and I'm like, here I am again. So there are many ways to go about being seen. And it might not be like, oh, I am the most talented, but somebody will see that something that they need to see in you that will be the right fit.
Oh, you're just raining gems on us today. I said there was a second part to this question. The second part is, if there's somebody who has done some work that they're proud of, but they find themselves in a dry spell, they're in an in-between moment, and they don't necessarily see when the next thing that's going to come is. Any different advice you'd have for them?
I've been there. Wow. Dry spells are rough, and they happen more frequently the older you get. It just, things get more specific about what you can go in for, or the physicality of what is demanded of that show might not be okay anymore. The pandemic was a dry spell for everyone. So it was interesting because a lot of people had to pivot and leave for financial reasons, for family reasons. They might have lost their homes. They might have not been able to sustain for whatever reason. But the people who did come back, I'm curious. That's a great question for so many people because, especially in my age group where you have a lot of responsibility in your life, you have to hold up. I have elder person that I hold up. So what keeps you coming back in the dry spell is, for me, it's the little voice inside that says, I'm not done yet. And I've always had this little voice inside. And I think that is what spiritual or whatever it is to you, but there's something in us that tells us it is your intuition. It is unique to you. So for me, when I had my dry spell, I just had to keep going. And you get so used to this like fight for the next job, for the next glimmer of hope, every time you get that call back or whatever, you get addicted to it. So I wasn't done with the addiction of what can I get it? Can I do this for myself? Not for anybody else, but for me. So I think that's what gets you through your dry spells. It's take a step back, try something completely different. I did that where I became a lactation education counselor. I became a yoga instructor. I a Pilates certificate. Like I tried all these different things. I said, does this make me feel like, but nothing felt like what I needed it to feel like as far as I wasn't done. I went, I'm not done. This isn't it. It's not it. It's not over for me. And sometimes you have to try some new things to help you figure out if you do still want to persevere, because this showbiz is about persevering.
Whew, 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 whew. I see why they call you mom.
Mom.
That maybe didn't sound as great as in my head, there's an endearing intention behind it. You truly, that is some incredible, incredible wisdom that you've shared with us today. I can't thank you enough. I think I know what the 12th show is.
What?
We only counted Mamma Mia once.
That's it.
Here we go again.
That's it. Here we go again.
I
mean,
it's
Mamma Mia
Mia
round 2.
Literally the show that started it all.
Maybe there'll be a 13th. Maybe there'll be a 13th and it'll be Mamma Mia 2 and I'll play the share role. I'll be like,
And guys, this wasn't some gag. I wasn't like the whole time like, oh, that, like, I genuinely just now, I was like, we didn't figure out the last one. And then I was like, wait, she's done Mamma Mia twice. That's 12.
That's it. That's the one.
It just seems like that is the show that keeps on giving. It seems like everybody on that show is incredible. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the time. For somebody who works 7 days a week, 3 different jobs, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming onto the show. Thank you.
I am so grateful to you and so grateful to talk about this show that changed my whole life. And it does just take one. So keep going out there. It just takes that one.
Guys, if you enjoyed this conversation with Erica, then you'll love a recent conversation I had with Caro de Atayak, who made her Broadway debut on Mamma Mia this fall. So be sure to check that out. Major shout out to our co-producers and distributors over at Next Chapter Podcast. Guys, before you go, like this episode, make sure you're subscribed wherever you're tuning in. It helps out a ton. And we'll be back next Tuesday. Till next time, y'all. Peace.